What's up? Welcome back to Sunset Film Alliance. Today, me and Alex are preparing you another technology video. This time we're going to be testing out this camera in low light. On such a bright day like this, we'll see how it does.
Yep, and this way you'll be able to easily see the grain because we're going to be in a highlight scenario, but I'm going to be artificially darkening it like sunglasses in front of the human eyeball. So this is a standard profile at ISO 50, so this should be almost perfectly clean. Even if you zoom in, you'll see that it's almost perfectly clean. I'm going to jump up by the classic ISO numbers rather than jumping through every setting, because then that way the video won't be 30 minutes long. Alright, now we are in ISO 100. Should look pretty much just the same as before. So on standard profiles, it acts a bit different than more complex profiles because it lets you take the ISO as low as you want it, down to 50. Meaning you can get the cleanest image, but the dynamic range of the picture kind of sucks. So if you look at Mock's knees, for instance, or the tip of his shoes, they look almost completely white right now. So yeah, keep that in mind. Alright guys, this is ISO 200. This is originally the lowest ISO you can go on older Panasonic cameras. So, tell us how this one looks. It should look pretty much the same as before, but a tiny bit of grain if you zoom in really far, or if you look really close to the screen. But most people shouldn't be able to tell a difference. So, yeah, let's switch over to ISO 400, because the way ISO works is you double the number every time. Alright, now we are ISO 400. Now let's just rapid fire through the low ISOs. 400. 800.
Cool.
1600. Also known as 1600, but everyone calls it 1600.
Just for simplicity.
Yep. 3200. Now you might see a bit of light grain flickering on the screen, maybe reminiscent of film grain. The image might also start to soften because in the standard profiles, there is noise reduction being applied automatically in the camera so that you don't have to do it in the editor, because most people don't know how to do that, or it's too processor intensive for their computer. So let's move on. Remember, every time it doubles, so it's just going to get higher and higher.
Let's go to the 6400.
Yep. Alright, so this is 6400, and it shows 6400 for shutter speed. Soon enough, I'm going to have to start stopping down the aperture because it's going to hit the limit of how fast it can do its shutter speed, because we're in such a bright day like this, and the sunglass can only go so dark and you can't stack them. So this is 6400. You might start seeing a light grain, but getting heavier, and it's going to just keep getting worse from here. Next up is 12,800. Alright fellas, this is 12,800. You should start seeing a pretty regular grain. If you look in dark areas like Mock's sunglasses or the shadow under the chair, I wish there was a real shadow under the chair, then you'll start seeing that grain and that smeariness. You'll start seeing loss of details in things such as Mock's beard, his mustache, or the hair on his arm, for instance. Or even his hair might start going from you seeing the individual fibers to it looking like a brown blob as we keep going up from here. Because up from here, it gets messy. Ready for 25,600, Mock?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Alright, here we go. This is 25,600. And if you notice the tiles turning nearly white, that's because as you go up in ISO, dynamic range starts clamping down. Meaning that in low light scenarios, for instance, if you're filming at night, street lights might look white, and that is why, because you're cranking up the ISO. Did you ever know that, Mock?
Never knew that.
That's why street lights look white when you take pictures of them. So 25,600, you should see a pretty nasty grain going now. Mock's sunglasses probably look completely just brown with no reflection in them, maybe. And yeah, let's jump up to the near maximum, 51,200. This is 51,200. By now, small tiny details like grass or the grain on the chair are going to probably be completely gone. Other things, such as tiny details in his shirt and beard, probably gone. They probably look like a weird, wobbling, sort of grainy mess now. And the next option, in case of emergencies only, is going to destroy the image completely. Are you ready for this, Mock? Are you ready to break reality?
Okay, 102,400, right?
Yes. Ready?
Oh God, no.
Alright. Now the image should look like crap. 102,400, which we thought was the highest. Turns out we were wrong, because on standard profile, you can go all the way up to 204,800 or so. The last part of the number doesn't matter. It's 204,000. It's a crazy amount of noise in ISO, and that background just looks like complete grain right now. Everything looks like a mess. I can even see the grain on the screen, even though it's tiny. So it's horrible looking right now. And the next one is just going to completely break apart the image.
I hope you enjoyed seeing me while you still can, audience.
Yep. Now mine's going to look like a bunch of blobs. You ready? This is 204,800. It is absolutely horrible now. And everything should be looking grainy and muddy and horrible. Basically, for me, on standard profiles, I would not recommend going above 51,200 because it has inbuilt noise reduction, so it can take away some of the bad noise artifacts. Now, let's move over to the Cinelike profiles.
Ladies and gentlemen, what the type of filter you're looking at is Cinema V2, which is like a profile that tries to emulate what you would see in the cinemas.
Yep, Cinelike V2.
Cinema V2, I was close.
Yep, and the lowest this one can go, surprisingly, is only ISO 100. It can't go as low as the others, meaning it's going to be slightly less clean, but it might look nicer because you get more dynamic range. For instance, in the back you can see that pool better, and in the front you might be able to see Mock's knees better because they don't look completely blown out like they did before.
Now you can see one of them even better.
Yep. All right, let's cut the low ISOs and jump straight to 3200 to start seeing the high ISO performance, because most of the low ISOs look nearly the same because of noise reduction. All right, guys, this is 3200 ISO. You should start seeing a light grain just like before. And to my surprise, this profile as well goes up to 204,800. And that is just ridiculous. I've never seen a camera in video go up that high. Who would use it? Documentarians maybe, but at that point, you really need a light. So
it doesn't hurt.
Yeah. So now you see a mid-grainy ISO. Let's jump over to 12,800 and skip 6,400 because it's very similar to 3,200. All right, this is 12,800. You should start seeing a mild grain going across the screen.
Including on the grass?
Nope, mostly in areas of darkness. Areas where there's more lack of detail. Where the camera could start losing detail. Mostly in the shadows. So, for instance, soles of Mock's shoes, under his legs on the chair, and the shadows that his arms are making, as well as his glasses. And parts of his hair.
I should see my eyes a bit better, huh?
Yep. And then, let's jump up to 51,200 and see how crazy this can get. This is 51,200. Will I ever use this? No!
Why would you? I mean, like, I'm sure the video right now looks like crap.
Yeah. If you even have a household flashlight taped to a tripod, that's better than cranking it up all this way. The only time you'd really want to use this is if you're in a cave or something and there's a bear. But at that point, you get a night vision camera. So, basically, 51,200 is going to start being sloppy and grainy and all this stuff.
Don't even bother using that.
Yeah, and just for fun, let's go up to the two highest ones again, just to show you why you should not use them.
Under any circumstances.
51,200, again, is the highest one I would use, but this time for cinema profiles. So for standard and cinema profiles, this is the highest one I would use.
Oh crap, let me guess. We're already at 102,400, huh?
Yep. And
And-
Mock's sunglasses have probably dark voids in them rather than you seeing the shadows and the reflections.
Stare into my glasses. It's as empty as your soul is.
Yes, and we're starting to actually, something very interesting, we're starting to lose color.
What?
Yeah, we're starting to lose color. It's looking more black and white and stuff.
That's ridiculous.
That's what happens at high ISOs.
You
Once
can't
you
be serious.
break past the barrier and get to the ISOs with the little H next to it, that means extremely high ISOs. And the only time you want to use those is when you can't use a flash or can't use a light, which are very rare circumstances.
Oh my God.
So, for shits and giggles, let's jump to the top.
All right, lads, we're finally at 204,800, and I know what you're thinking. Oh my God, this looks terrible. I can't really see anything. In that case, you're right. Congratulations, you get this imaginary gold star.
Yeah. So this ISO is insane. I'm surprised it goes up this high. For instance, the Sony camera that is known for good low light goes up to 400,000. This gets halfway there, which is already amazing.
I hate to see what it'll look like in 400,000. I bet it'll look even worse than we could possibly imagine.
Yeah,
It's horrible.
Except that one's known for being good at low light. This one's known for being normal in low light, you know? So basically, 204,800. I cannot stress enough not to use this. Do not go up this high unless you need to. Unless you can't afford, a lens that's better in low light.
When would you ever need to go up to 204,800?
I have no idea. Maybe if you're in a pitch black movie theater, but then why would you be recording a movie, you jerk? Anyway, so here's, we're going to now move on to the last one, which is the log profile, which is a lot more finicky with the range of ISO it can do, specifically because of how bad these high and low ones can be. Alright guys, this is Vlog. Now Vlog, what the hell is that? And why does this image look so gray? Well, let me fix that for you right now. I fixed it. So,
Voila!
why does this image look so gray? Well, it's because it tries to fit the brightest brights and the darkest darks into the same image for you to edit later. If you don't edit it later, it looks like you've drawn something on a piece of slate. So, this is at ISO 320 because this one starts at a higher thing than everyone else. Why? I don't know. They don't tell us. So
we didn't program it to be this way.
yeah, it starts at a thing called the base ISO of the camera, and the base ISO changes depending on which profile it's set to, which makes no sense, but that's how it works. So let's jump up to ISO 640, which is where its so-called base ISO is. Let's do this. Alright, this is ISO 640. This is technically where the base ISO is. So for filming, technically, this is where you should be at ISO 640.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Looks pretty clean. If it looks dirty at all, then a tiny bit of noise reduction thrown in the editor should fix that up. Because this profile, I think the reason that they don't go higher than 51,200 is because noise reduction doesn't exist in this profile. You have to do it on the computer. But you can turn it on in the camera. Although, why would you? The computer does it better. So, let's move on to high ISOs, starting with 3200. Let's go. This is ISO 3200. It should look sort of grainy right now, although the color grading that I've done has gotten rid of most of the noise. I wouldn't have to put much noise reduction on this one at all. So the ISOs on this profile where you need to start putting noise reduction starts at 12,800. So let's jump up there.
Why not?
This is ISO 12,800. Should be looking pretty grainy now. But I have a fix for that. Noise reduction. Boom. So noise reduction can get rid of most of the grain, although it's really heavily taxing on the computer, making it sound like a jet fan and heating up like crazy and possibly crashing the editor. So
No bueno.
yeah, noise reduction is not for the faint of heart or the week of computer. So
That's just a disclaimer.
that's just a disclaimer, yes. If you do have a weak computer, you might as well turn on the noise reduction for this profile and let it do its thing, or use a profile that does noise reduction automatically. So we'll jump up to the other two high ones just to see what they do.
25,600 and then 51,200.
Let's do this. This is 25,600. And if you notice the background changing, that is not the lens or the ISO. That is me having to stop down the aperture, meaning more stuff is in focus. For instance, my hand up here is now in focus, and the background's in focus at the same time.
Is my shoe not focused?
Yep, your shoe's now focused. If you lean forward and back, you're still focused. It's pretty intense. So basically, what happens, this is the maximum ISO, 25,600, that I would use for this profile, because the noise is pretty heavy and you have to correct it pretty heavily in the editor. I've not gone up to 51,200 yet. I assume it is horrible, so we might as well take a look.
You have been warned.
You've been warned. Don't go above this ISO right here, 25,600. This is 51,200. It's probably crappy.
Look.
Yeah, look, don't use it. Just don't.
Enough said.
Yeah, unless you really need to get to highest ISOs in this profile. If you really need to get to higher ISOs, I would suggest switching profiles from this profile into one of the other ones that can jump up to those crazy high
Like
numbers.
Cinema V-like
Yeah,
2.
Cinelike V and standard. Any of the standard profiles, any of the Cinelike profiles. So you could use Cinelike D, which is the color gradable cousin that I showed you 2 videos ago.
It's really been 2 videos ago?
Yep. And all you'd have to do is...
Where's the time fly by, huh?
Yeah. All you'd have to do is tweak the noise reduction of the profile a little bit. If you want to noise reduce on the computer, just make sure to turn that noise reduction all the way down to -5 on those profiles. On Vlog, it defaults at no noise reduction at all, so you are not going to get the absolute best low light with this image. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video.
If you like it, press the like button. Subscribe if you're interested in seeing more videos from me and Alex.
Press the like button for more mocking videos.
Comment down below which one is your favorite out of the standard, Cinema V-like 2, or even Vlog.
And comment which one does the best in low light. Is it standard profiles, Cinelike profiles, or Vlog? So,
And which number, like 340 or 200?
yeah, what is the maximum ISO you would use in each profile? Tell us in the comments below.
We'd be happy to know.
And we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.